Hola amigos y bienvenidos a clase número 9 y hoy vamos a continuar con el tópico de dónde vivimos y también vamos a aprender gramática, el presente. Sí, muy bien. Pero primero, ¿qué hay en la mesa hoy? ¿Qué hay en la mesa? Pero no hay nada en la mesa. ¡Qué mal! ¿Hay un bolígrafo en la mesa? No, no hay un bolígrafo en la mesa. ¿Vivo en Fleet? No, no vivo en Fleet. Vivo en Basingstoke. ¿Me gusta mi piso? No, no me gusta mi piso. Es feo. No, no es feo, es pequeño. ¿Y voy al cine hoy? No, no voy al cine. Me quedo en mi piso.
Forming negative structures in Spanish has never been easier. I know I would say that, but it's true. No, meaning no, not. It can actually mean don't. Quite simply, if I want to change I like my flat into I don't like my flat, I'm just going to say no at the beginning. No me gusta mi piso. I don't live in Fleet. No vivo en Fleet. I go or I'm going to the cinema. In the negative, I'm not going or I don't go to the cinema. Yep. No voy al cine. I have a pen, so I don't have a pen. No tengo un bolígrafo. Hay un bolígrafo. There is a pen. So how will we say there isn't a pen? Yep, quite simply, no hay un bolígrafo. We also have two other negative words here. We've got nunca, which means never, and tampoco, meaning neither, and sometimes it can mean nor. So how would I go about saying, nor do I like my flat? Okay, I'm going to say, tampoco me gusta mi piso. What about I never go to the cinema? Nunca voy al cine. So you're going to need roughly 40 minutes to complete this lesson. This is lesson 9, continuing the topic of house and home and focusing in particular on the present tense. It is the last in the series of lessons on house and home. Just to start off with a little bit of recapping, I've written for you 10 of the key questions that you've covered in the last 8 to 9 lessons, and I want you to identify what the appropriate response would be. For example, number 1, ¿Qué tal? How are you? The answer should be D. Estoy bastante bien, gracias. Okay, I'm going to come back to you shortly. Muy buena suerte. Y listos en 3, 2, 1. Venga, number 2. ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? A. My name is Jaimito. Number 3. How old are you? A. I am 44 years of age. Number 4. ¿Cuándo naciste? When were you born? G. I was born in 1975. Number 5. When is your birthday? B. It's on the 20th of June. Number 6. Where do you live? Do you live in a house or a flat? Answer is C. I live in Basingstoke in a comfortable flat. Number 7. Do you like it or not and why? Answer is E. I like my flat because it is modern. 8. Where did you used to live in the past? Answer is F. Before, I used to live in Plymouth in the southwest of England. 9. Where would you like to live in the future and why? Answer is J. I would like to live in the south of France. And finally, number 10. ¿Qué hay en tu piso? What is there in your flat? We saw this last lesson. Answer is H. There is a fitted or a furnished kitchen and it's spacious. Y continuamos. Okay, just to recap gender, number and word order, I need you to unjumble these words so that they form full sentences and then make sure you know what they mean. So here we have en vivo casa una, in I live house A. So unjumble them to form your sentence. And in the next task, I want you to highlight or underline or write out the correct structure. So only one of these is correct. Una cocina moderno, una moderna cocina, or una cocina moderna. So that's your choice, okay? I'll catch up with you shortly and we'll go through the answers. Adiós. Y vamos a continuar en 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Venga, número 1. Vivo en una casa. I live in a house. 2. Vivo en un piso moderno. I live in a modern flat. 3. Vivo en una casa adosada. I live in a semi-detached house. 4. En mi casa hay 3 dormitorios. In my house there are 3 bedrooms. 5. En la planta baja hay una cocina amueblada. On the ground floor there is a fitted or furnished kitchen. 6. En la planta baja hay una cocina fea y también un despacho moderno. Okay, and the next task, you should have underlined una cocina moderna because, first of all, cocina is a feminine noun, so therefore we should have una, and also moderna needs to end in an A. Also, we need to take into account the word order. We're saying quite literally, in English, a kitchen modern, okay? So noun followed by adjective. B, un despacho grande, a big or a large office. C, dos dormitorios espaciosos. So again, word order, 2 bedrooms, spacious. We have the plural agreements here as well. Dormitorios espaciosos, okay? D, we're trying to say a lovely lawn. Lawn is masculine, so definitely going to be un, and as it's masculine, the ending should be an O, on bonito. Un césped bonito. E, we're saying 3 ugly offices. Or 3 offices ugly. So we should have 3 oficinas feas, because it's feminine and plural. And finally, F, un despacho espacioso y 2 cocinas cómodas. Okay, so we've got our masculine agreement here, we've got our feminine and plural agreement for cocinas cómodas. Y continuamos. Por favor, escribid la fecha en español, el título en español y los objetivos en español y en inglés. Y después completad las actividades en verde y rojo. 10 minutos, por favor. Okay, for hoy la fecha es, you should have written the date, whatever that date is, today you're completing this task. El título, the title is the present. The objectives, to learn how to form the present in Spanish. The first activity, 1. Escribir, to write. 2. Leer, to read. 3. Hablar, don't say the H, to speak or to talk. 4. Escuchar, to listen. 5. Beber, to drink. 6. Describir, to describe. Y las traducciones. I love listening to pop music. Normally, I listen to the radio. 2. I hate eating hamburgers because I'm vegetarian. Go figure. Generally, I eat salads and fruit. 3. I prefer learning Spanish. I learn Spanish because it is very interesting and fun, in my opinion. 4. I live in a lovely or a pretty house with 3 floors in Madrid, a city situated in the centre of Spain. On the ground floor of my house, there is a fitted kitchen, a toilet, and a living room. Okay, time to get our geek on. So we're going to learn how to form the present tense in Spanish. And when I teach tenses to students at school, I always start off by reminding them how we do it in our own language in English. So starting off with something called an infinitive verb, for example, to play. Okay, so if you were looking in a dictionary for a verb, it would show you the infinitive, to play, to go, to watch, to do, and so on. Now, to form the present tense using to play, we need to use our pronouns, okay? We need to say who's doing the action. So I, to play, is the first step of forming the present tense. And of course, you know that's not right because we don't say I to play. We actually remove the 2 and we have I play. If we continue our list of pronouns, we should then be able to do the same thing. So you to play, take away the to, you play. And then finally, he, she to play, he, she play, he play. That's not right, is it? In English, we actually add an S. Okay, that's us conjugating the verb to play. We're changing it so that it makes sense depending on who's doing the talking. Okay, let's see if that theory is actually accurate. So let's take another infinitive verb. Let's take to eat. Okay, so we follow the same process. I to eat. No, we take away the to. I eat. You eat. He or she eat. And we established that in English we need to put an S on the end. We're conjugating our verb. We're changing it so it makes sense. He or she eats. So far the theory is accurate. What about to live? Let's take the infinitive verb to live. I to live. Right, we know. Get rid of the to. You live. He, she lives. So we add our S. So it looks like that theory is working pretty well for, certainly for regular verbs. And if we were to continue with our pronouns, we, you plural, i.e. all of you, and they, would that still work? We live, you all live, and they live. Okay, so we have just conjugated what is a regular verb into the present tense. Right, let's try another infinitive verb. Let's have to have. And let's see how this works. So I to have. No, we remove the to. You have. So far, so good. He or she, if we use the pattern we used just now, we will say haves. Now, as English speakers, you will know that is inaccurate. It's actually has. And that tells us that this verb is irregular because it doesn't follow the pattern of just adding an S in the he and she form. And what about for we, you plural, and they? We have, that's fine. You all have, and they have. Yep, perfect. So it's irregular because of the he, she form. Let's try another verb. Let's have to go. I to go. Take away the to. I go, that works. You go. He or she goes. That's not how we spell that, is it? We add an E, so that's definitely irregular. We go, you all go, and they go. So again, it's irregular in the third person singular, the he and she pronoun. Last one, to be. I to be, take away the to, I be. Whoa, that's highly irregular. I am, you are, he or she is, we are, all of you are, they are. So we've now got a situation with a verb in English that doesn't look anything like its conjugated form at all. So that's highly irregular. You don't have anything quite like that in Spanish, you'll be pleased to know. Right, so how the doodly-doo do we do this in Spanish? Well, you're going to start off with your infinitive verbs, hablar, vivir, aprender, and so on, all coloured in black, with the equivalent in English in green. I just want you to match them up for me, okay? Vamos. Let's see what you came up with. Hablar, to speak or to talk. Aprender, to learn. Vivir, to live. Escuchar, to listen. Comer, to eat. Escribir, to write. So, question. In English, infinitive verbs begin with the word to. So what is the first thing you've noticed about the Spanish equivalents? Well, yeah, it's one word, and they all have something in common. The last two letters either end in AR, IR, or ER. So every single verb in Spanish, every infinitive verb, will end in either AR, IR, or ER. So that's an easy way to recognize an infinitive verb in Spanish. Okay, so I've now got our list of pronouns ready in Spanish. How do we say these in English? So, yo, yeah, I, tú, you. Be careful, tú has an accent. If you remove that accent, it does no longer mean you, it means your. For example, ¿cuándo es tu cumpleaños? So be careful, really needs that acute accent. Él, ella. He and she. Nosotros or nosotras. We. So a group of boys, guys, men would say nosotros, referring to themselves, whereas a group of girls would say nosotras. If there were a mixed group of people, it is more usual to say nosotros, which I know is a bit sexist, but I'll leave it to you to decide whether you do that or not. Vosotros, vosotras is you, plural. So in English we just say the word you, whether it's you, one person, or you, all of you. In Spanish they absolutely have a different pronoun. Vosotros, vosotras. And finally, ellos, ellas, they. Right, so we're going to start with the verb hablar, to talk. That's our infinitive verb. Now, remember what we did in English? We actually removed the to, didn't we? To talk, we took that away. Yo hablar, I to talk. It doesn't make any sense. So we're going to remove the ending. We're going to take off the AR, and we're going to replace it with an O. Hablo means I talk. Now, you will remember that you already have used this because you said vivo, I live, ends in an O. Tengo, I have. So we've seen this already. Moving to you talk, or you speak, we're going to take away the AR again, but our ending is going to be AS. So, hablas, you talk. Okay, what about he or she talks? Remember in English we had to put an S at the end of talk. Now in Spanish we're going to say él, ella, habla. He or she talks, habla. We talk. Now you've actually heard me use this ending before. It's amos. You know when I say vamos, let's go, we're going. Vamos a continuar, we are going to continue. Hablamos, we talk. You plural talk, all of you. Habláis, habláis. And finally, they talk, hablan, hablan. And the word they, ellos, if it's a group of boys, ellas, if it's a group of girls. If it's mixed, tends to be ellos. Right, so those are endings for an AR verb. For example, hablar, it's a regular verb. I could equally choose another AR verb, like escuchar, to listen, and do exactly the same thing. So we take off the AR of escuchar and add our endings. Escucho, I listen. Escuchas, you listen. Escucha, escuchamos, escucháis, escuchan. I listen, you listen. He or she listens, we listen, you all listen, and they listen. What if I were to conjugate an IR verb in the present tense? Now, we know the verb vivir, because you know how to say I live, it's vivo. This is an IR verb, so the endings might change from time to time. We're still going to stay with our o, vivo, but then we're going to say vives, vive, vivimos, vivís, viven. I live, you live, he, she lives, we live, you all live, they live. And finally, ER verbs, for example, comer, to eat. Now, I've got the endings here for you, and I want you to decide where they go. So how would you conjugate the verb comer? So I want you to say, I eat, you eat, he, she eats, we eat, all of you eat, and they eat. You just need to choose the correct endings. Look at how you conjugated IR and AR verbs to help you do that. Y listos. The ending is going to be o, es, e, hemos, eis, en, como, comes, come, comemos, coméis, comen. Right, still with me, I hope, folks. This is what the grid looks like when you've got your AR, ER, and IR verb endings all together. So it can look a little bit daunting, but, you know, think of it really logically. We're just talking about rows and columns, and as long as we follow the correct row and column, we're always going to find our answer. Now, be aware that when we're using the present tense in Spanish, you don't have to actually use the pronouns most of the time. Yo vivo, I live, you just need to say vivo. We tend to use pronouns in Spanish to emphasize something. You know, if you really strongly feel something, you might use a pronoun then. Right, it's over to you. I've got 3 infinitive verbs here for you. Hablar, comer, vivir. AR verb, ER verb, IR verb, all corresponding to these columns, okay? I'd like you to conjugate those verbs in the present tense. So, I've already removed the ending, AR. You need to decide what letter goes on the end. So, your, I, it's an AR verb, follow the row and the column, and you end up with an O. Hablo. Okay, so could you complete those three for me? And your answers, here we go. Okay, so just check you've got the correct verb endings. Hablo, hablas, habla, hablamos, habláis, hablan. And I've written down the English for you there as well. Okay, and don't forget to check your ER and IR verbs as well. Okay, hope you are doing okay. Right, quick listening activity. So, your teacher, that's me, will read some pronouns to you, but who is doing the talking? So, I'm going to read 6 pronouns. All I need you to do is to translate them into English. So, if I were to say yo, you will write I. If I were to say él, you're going to write he. Just to make it easier to start with, I'm only going to use the pronouns I, you, he, she. Okay? Vamos. Número 1. Tú. Número 2, yo. Número 3, ella. Número 4, él. Número 5, yo. Número 6, tú. Okay, and again, only this time it could be any of the 6 pronouns. Okay, listos? Ready? Let's go. Número 1, nosotras. 2, ella. 3, ellas. 4, yo. 5, vosotras. 6, tú. Okay, and the answers. Number 1 is you. Number 2, I. Number 3, she. Number 4, he. Number 5, I. And number 6, you. And the final 6. Number 1, we was the feminine form. Number 2, she. Number 3, they. Also the feminine form. Number 4, I. Number 5, you, as in you plural, all of you. And that was the feminine form. And number 6, you, singular. Okay, final activity, folks. We've got 5 tasks here. I'm not going to go through the instructions with you because they're all in English, but this is an opportune moment to take a screenshot or to pause the video. So could you please make sure you answer tasks A through to E? Okay, feel free to use all the work we've covered so far, a dictionary if necessary. Some of the words might be new to you. Okay, I'll come back to you shortly. You're probably going to need about 15 minutes for this one. Hasta luego. Y las respuestas en 3, 2, 1. Okay, I'm going to leave the answers up on the screen for you just for a few more moments so you can take a screenshot or pause the video and go through your answers. Any questions, you can always post me a comment. Once you're done, it's a good opportunity to reflect on what went well in today's lesson, and even better if. So what are your strengths? What have you achieved? We've covered a lot of ground today, actually. And what is it you still feel you need to work on, and how are you going to go about working on that? And that's my home completed. The next time we will be moving on to part 3, all about relationships. Appearance, personality, word order, and how you get on with people or not, and why. Good job, everybody, my grammar geeks out there. Before I leave, as I always do, a quick check on some of the key vocab from earlier in lesson. So, negative structures, what do they mean? Nunca tengo. I never have. Nunca aprendo. I never learn. No estudio. I don't study. No hablo. I don't speak or talk. No como. I don't eat. Tampoco me gusta. Nor do I like. Okay, that is really it now. I'll see you for part 3 when we're talking about relationships. Muy bien, adiós, hasta luego.